And as Montana This Morning continues, an investigation underway after 3 people murdered in Great Falls.
And we all know the great outdoors is important for our health, especially here in Montana.
6:30 now, almost on this Wednesday. Chet Lehman, Caitlin Corbett, Matt Elwell with you here. The great outdoors is super good for your health. Unless you're in West Yellowstone, you better bundle up a little bit.
It's been a little cold. Hey, by the way, I wanted to share, before we get to that, I wanted to share a picture my wife took of my 5-year-old son. It's an elf that they take turns moving around the house.
Look at that.
What's he doing?
Game. It's some kind of toilet game. It squirts water at you. This is this one.
Wow.
So I'm issuing to our viewers the elf challenge. I want to see where your elf
How creative it can get.
ends up. Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we like to look at your pictures, even if some of them we can't post on there.
Yeah,
you go right ahead and
they're not appropriate, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, right now, West Yellowstone, 18 below the current temperature, 8 degrees in Butte, 11 degrees in Belgrade. Bundle up on the way out this morning. The afternoon should warm up nicely. We should be well into the 30s, which is above average for this time of year, but it does look like it's going to be a cold start to the day. We'll break down your complete forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Remember, ELF Challenge.
ELF Challenge. Thank you, Matt. 6:30 now. Some tragedy topping our news this morning. Head-on collision in Billings sent multiple people to the hospital, including a small child.
According to Billings police, a white Chrysler was heading north when it crossed into the southbound lanes, smashing into a silver Toyota. We're told the call came in just a little after 9:30 last night. A man was alone in the Chrysler when he struck the Toyota with a man, woman, and child inside.
Now we're told all 4 people were taken to the hospital. Officials say speed considered a factor in this crash, but it's too early to tell if drugs or alcohol were also involved. We'll continue to update you online and on air.
Meantime, an investigation continues into a triple homicide in Great Falls.
Yeah, 3 people found dead, a 4th person injured, the suspect killed by police.
MTN's Jennifer Hausman has the latest.
It was extremely loud and violent. It wasn't a polite knock like somebody was here to visit. And so I got up to see what was going on, and I started checking the rest of my house to make sure that nobody was in my house. And I could hear police sirens throughout the neighborhood going off. I told my wife to call 911 that whoever they were looking for was trying to get into our house.
A frightening start to their Tuesday morning. One man says his family was woken up by the sounds of the suspect attempting to enter their home. It all started around 2 a.m. Tuesday morning. 911 dispatch received a call for emergency medical assistance at Emerald Casino. Emergency responders that arrived found 3 victims dead inside. That prompted a manhunt for the suspect. Around 5:45, law enforcement officers encountered the suspect. That person was shot and killed by officials about 10 blocks from the casino. At a press conference Tuesday afternoon, Lieutenant Doug Otto of the Great Falls Police Department said their primary focus was safety.
Our main focus was the safety of the community and finding the suspect. So we were trying to track him down and continue to focus on that while we are still securing a crime scene as well. So there were a lot of parts that we had to worry about.
Copeland says although the situation was intense, he wanted to make sure his family was safe as well.
Once we called 911 and realized it was a serious incident, and I could hear in the background on the radio that guns were involved and everything, that's when I wanted to move my family down to the basement, to the safest spot possible.
In Great Falls, Jennifer Hausman, MTN News.
Now law enforcement saying this case is an example of why you should lock your doors every night.
And also new this morning, a Bozeman man is facing criminal charges after police say he strangled his girlfriend in a store parking lot after she didn't pick him up at the door.
According to court documents, Daniel Ornelas could face up 5 years in prison after police say it happened late last night. Those documents show Ornelas had gone to the bathroom while his girlfriend went out to the car.
And when she didn't pull up to pick him up, investigators say he became angry and hit her when she didn't give up the keys. The judge set Ornelas' bail at $25,000, citing a history of DUI and disorderly conduct.
Shifting gears just a bit now, family and friends of Alexa Zintars are remembering her after she was killed by a drunk driver while riding on her bicycle.
Bozeman police say they arrested Chad Basitis after he called 911 telling them he hit Zintars while driving on North 19th Ave late on Saturday night. The 25-year-old died at the scene. Police say Basitis admitted to drinking several beers at a company Christmas party, and court documents show he had veered over the white line and onto the shoulder, hitting Zintars from behind. You can head over to our website to find out ways that you can pay your respects through the funeral home.
Also new here on Montana this morning, it's no secret that the state of Montana has endless opportunities to enjoy the great outdoors.
Oh, that's definitely true. And the state's 30 million acres of public lands play an important role in the health of citizens and the state economy. In Billings, the advocacy group Business for Montana's Outdoors brought together local healthcare and business leaders to make the case supporting good policy and programs to protect Montana's wild places. Research done by Business for Montana's Outdoors shows the wilderness brings in $7.1 billion in consumer spending yearly.
Yeah, the discussion made the case for Congress to fully fund the Land and Water Conservation Fund. That federal conservation fund has been passed, but Congress has not funded the bill, meaning no money can be given to the state to fund projects.
Over the last 10 years, the Land and Water Conservation Fund has granted $245 million to the state of Montana. Outdoor advocates say that money should come in full because investments in the outdoors benefit public health and the state economy.
We also talked a lot about how the outdoors was the cursor for healthy communities, which then translates into healthy workforce. So really, how are we elevating that message that health is the connector, and we need to continue investing in our outdoors in order to have a strong economy and a strong community.
And an added note, over the bill's lifetime, the Land and Water Conservation Fund helped build 800 Montana projects, including fishing access sites and city parks.
In other news this morning, a little heads up for you if you plan to travel by air for your Christmas holiday.
The Transportation Security Administration announced it will be offering what it calls blended lanes at 13 airports in Montana. So blended lanes will allow TSA pre-check travelers to take their carry-on luggage through regular security lines at airports that don't have a dedicated pre-check lane.
Now, some of the airports that will have blended lanes include Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport, Burt Mooney Airport in Butte. Air travel is expected to peak on Friday and continue all the way through January 2nd.
And love this story still. We first told you about it yesterday. A family in Butte getting an early Christmas present.
Yep, their pet dog was stolen, has now been returned home. TN's John Amy tells us the family's story.
It was an emotional reunion for Cassandra Rasmussen and her family after being without their pet dog Zeus for more than 2 months. Zeus was stolen from their Butte home by someone she thought was a friend back in October. The dog was eventually located nearly 2,000 miles away in West Virginia. More than 20 volunteers helped to return Zeus to Butte.
Can't believe everyone that's helped. It's just amazing, and I'm just thank you.
Bryson Leggett volunteered to drive Zeus the last leg of his journey back to Butte by picking him up in Laramie, Wyoming.
If something like that happened to my dog, I know that I would definitely want the same kind of thing to happen. I would want people to help. I would want my dog back home with me.
And there goes Zeus after a 2,000-mile odyssey. He's back home where he belongs, and his family couldn't be happier.
Super duper happy.
Go home, go curl up with my dog and hang out with my dog that I haven't hung out with in months.
In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Really just the perfect ending there, and Cassandra says she's grateful for the members of the Many Paws Volunteer Transport Service who helped drive Zeus home.
That's literally how he came home, too.
I know.
Multiple volunteers bringing him clear across the country.
It takes a village, right?
I love that for Zeus's sake. 6:38 here when Montana This Morning returns. Hackers getting more and more creative. Why you need to be on the lookout.
But first, here's what's ahead on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, President Trump is expected to be impeached today by the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives. We've got team coverage before the historic vote, which will bring you in a special report. Plus, millions of people could lose food stamp benefits under a proposed rule change. How dozens of states could try to block the move in the courts. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.